I will restrict Mr. Chairman, I will restrict myself to the content of your letter, which says we should showcase our performance from 2017 to 2019.
Can put small jara.
So if you do allow me, I will go on that line. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. First and foremost, Mr. Chairman, I think we have a summary. We've made a submission. We have a summary of it on the first page, and that is 2017. Between and then the total collection, actual collection at that time, less VAT, was 93.046% billion. That is 104.06%. And then 2019, we target given to us was 969.8 billion. As of January to August, we have collected 723.075 billion, which stands at 74.56%. Now, when you add back to that, which is what we record as our total collection, that in 2017 we collected 202.3 billion baht. If you add to then, if you go to 2018, collection of 249.4 billion baht. If you add that to 953.046, it gives you 1,202 billion. Then it
for the entire year, very new target.
It is 969. 969.8 billion.
You give us January to August.
Yes, because at the time your letter came, we have not finished collection of September.
No, what I'm saying
is the budget. Is this budget up to August or for the year?
No, this budget is for the total, the whole year.
For the whole year?
Yeah, the 969 is for the whole year.
For the whole year?
Yeah.
And at September you have
1 trillion.
As at September, we have 1.002 trillion.
1.002 trillion.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Yes. As at September.
Yes.
You have not added to it, but they are.
No, we have not added that to it.
You've not added it.
Yes.
So you are saying that we should give you more targets.
Well, I'm not asking for more target because.
No. That means that the Minister for Finance is listening, and I think we must commend you. If by September already you have reached 1.0025 I will agree with you on that. It's okay, yes. At least you have at least exceeded your target after September.
That's right.
And you deserve a lot of commendation.
Thank you.
But as you all are aware, we need more money.
And we're working for it. Those are the variables that are involved. So we will sit down and work out.
We are ready to join you to surmount it.
Thank you very much.
Exceed the target, and I'm saying it maybe as a pronouncement and informing the Minister of Finance, so please go ahead and double the budget of Nigerian Army.
Maybe increase, not double.
Because by December, at least we'll have gone as much as done as much as 1.5, 1.6 trillion.
No, we're looking at 1.4, 1.5.
1.5 trillion. So effectively, if we double it, it only comes to about 1.8 trillion. So I think we can do. So we'll go ahead and double it. To increase the budget for the Nigerian Customs Service. So we got it. Sir, the revenue budget, not the revenue budget. I would say, because it's based on.
Yeah, of course, 7% collection, yes. And that's why we're working very hard to collect. So that our take home will be more.
Exactly. Yes. If you have done so well, then you should take more as well.
Thank you.
Now,
Chairman, and that is the issue of the closure of border. I'm glad you give me I'm given this opportunity to explain to Nigerians why it is necessary to close the border. It became necessary, Mr. Chairman and distinguished members, honorable members, that we have, in the course of my leadership in the customs, I've gone to Benin and our neighbors a couple of times, many times, trying to see if we can agree. There's an established protocol of transit of goods, which is an ETLS, it's not our creation, it's an Ecommerce creation, which says all goods, first and foremost, you cannot transit goods from another country through another country to your own country. So I'll give an example. There's no reason why the law does not allow goods made for Chad to land in Cotonou and then transit into Chad, because we are the nearest country to them that has a port. So they are supposed to bring their goods through Nigeria or Cameroon, which is bordering Chad. But that is happening. Secondly, in the case of Benin, before I even came to customs, there was an agreement based on transit. And they said they had no transport, they had no means because they have no strength. Then Nigerian Customs Service, government asked Nigerian Customs Service to give them 10 brand new headers. And the essence is for them to escort all transit goods that lands at their show to the customs of Nigeria at our own border. And they did that for 1 week and stopped. And since then, right now that I'm talking, there are over 10 to 20 million tons of rice in Benin Republic, pavo rice. They don't eat pavo rice. They don't consume pavo rice. There are 12 million people. Even if they do, that is just too much for them. That rice is destined to come to Nigeria. We have banned the importation of rice through our borders. As a matter of fact, we have literally banned the importation of rice to Nigeria, because for the past 3 years, no Form M has been given for importation of rice. And that Form M is the license, is the only credible document for formal importation of rice. So which means we have not imported rice, and we are not importing rice. And the idea is to enhance our own food security, to build our own food security, encourage our farmers so that they can grow and sell. And they have been doing that. But certainly this has become a problem. The drugs that are coming into Nigeria today, 95% of it come through our borders. Porous borders, these guys can take it through any route. Weapons. Mr. Chairman, I make bold to say today, since we closed the border, the acts of banditry has reduced drastically. And our own conclusion is that two things. Either those who create this havoc cross our borders, create this havoc and run back, or the ammunition and arms that they use, which comes at will, is no longer coming. So this act is reducing. And that's then the drugs that are coming through our borders, which affect the health and well-being of our people, has also been reduced drastically. So we felt we must compel our neighbors to agree to sign the documents that will enable us to execute the exact letter of the protocol on transit. Goods that are on prohibition list to Nigeria should never be exported or allowed to be exported to Nigeria. So if, for instance, youth clothing, which is completely total prohibition, if Benin allows youth clothing because they use it, they should not, under the protocol, allow the export of youth clothing into Nigeria. Likewise, the vegetable oil, because we're trying to grow our own list, they should not allow the use or the exportation of the vegetable oil or even poultry product. The poultry product, let Nigerians know, the same chemical that is used to embalm dead bodies is the same chemical that is injected into those chickens and turkeys to preserve it for our consumption. So this is how bad it is. The rice that we eat, 95% of it is expired. It's expired rice. Those that goes to buy it are Indians and Lebanese, and they come and rebag these things and send it to us. If you want to test this, cook the two rice, our own Abakaliki rice, and cook the foreign rice. Cover it for 48 hours, tight, and open the two. After 48 hours, you hear the smell that will come from the foreign rice. It's terrible. It's terrible. That means it's chemicalized and the chemicals have expired, and therefore it becomes poison. So this is what we are trying to protect Nigerians from, and we have to do it. Our job is not only collecting revenue, it's security and the well-being of Nigerians. And therefore closing the border has become necessary so that we can get our neighbors to come to a table so that we can sit down and agree on imposing the protocol agreed by ECOWAS. If we do that, then all these illicit things which are not supposed to be exported or allowed to be exported into our country will not be allowed to be exported. For instance, based on this closure, Nigerian Republic has circulated an order to say no more exportation of rice or in any form to Nigeria. These are the types of things that we are looking forward to. And unless we get to that, these borders will continue to remain closed. Thank you. Yes. The statistics, about 10.2 million the liters of fuel has now been cut down from what we have been assuming to have been consuming. This 10.2 million liters of fuel is always going to our neighbors. It's always, and the issue here, there's incentive because there's price differential. And that is why our people keep pushing this fuel. If you find out, I will tell you, if you go to Ilaro today or you go to GP, you find the filling stations that are there. In Idioroko, there are over 56 filling stations in one place, and they are close to the border. And what we have discovered is that they bring in fuel in the afternoon, and in the night they siphon it and take it to Benin Republic. They do that. They do that every day. And this is why we keep saying we are consuming so much large of this. What is not true. But by this border closure, we have now realized that at least 10.2 million liters of fuel is not what we is out of what we consume. So we consume less. And I'm sure we will begin to realize that we also consume less. So the advantage of this is that we are taking stock. And you ask, what strategy are we putting in place? Yes, we're now looking at it holistically. We must do things differently. We must employ technology because we do not have the number of people to put across the border. We have 4,070 kilometers of land border. There's no way we can cover everywhere. And the worst of all is that 2/3 of that is porous. After the dry season, or after the rainy season, everywhere is road. Everywhere is accessible. And we cannot be everywhere. So we have now realized that the best thing we can do is to deploy technology. Constant surveillance, and then put strike force where we can immediately move and intercept, intercept. This is what we're looking at. Fortunately, the President has approved the e-custom for us, And that e-custom part of it is to deploy technology for surveillance of our borders. We hope that will be done. And we are working with the Nigerian Air Force, which they have deployed a geospatial monitoring system, which will cover our borders, but not on a 24-hour basis. So we must close that gap by other technologies. And that is what we intend to do. Hopefully, if we do that, and we get the acceptance of our neighbors to also coexist as cordial neighbors, then most of these illicit activities will be reduced to them. Then we will now to consider removing the border. Thrills me as a matter of fact, because when we closed the border, my fear was that our revenue was going to drop. And to be honest, our revenue kept increasing. There was a day in September that we collected 9.2 billion in one day. It has never happened before. And this is after the closure of the border. And since then, we have maintained the average of about 4.7 to 5.8 on a daily basis, which is far more than what we used to collect. What we have discovered is that most of those cargoes that used to go to Benin, shipped to Benin, Cotonou, and then discharged and smuggled into Nigeria. Now that we have closed the border, they are forced to bring their goods to either Apapa or Ticala, and we have to collect duty on that. So if that will continue, it's a win-win situation. So as a matter of fact, to answer your question, is that our revenue has not reduced. As a matter of fact, it's increasing as a result of the closure of the border. Then, secondly, with regards to auction, we have been auctioning vehicles. You know, as the chairman, as my chairman in the House of Rep, that we have 3 or 4 stages. Anytime the first thing we do is to detain vehicles. Secondly, we go to seizure, and then from seizure we go to condemnation, and from condemnation we go to forfeiture. And that is carried out by the courts. The courts will be the final arbiter to forfeit those vehicles. And sometimes we'll go for 6 to 9 months going to and fro to court to get condemnation and forfeiture. And unless they are condemned and forfeited to government, there's no way we can auction those vehicles. So sometimes the vehicles you see there are awaiting courts. And then, of course, we have been auctioning vehicles. We have a directive by Mr. President, because our MDAs are short of vehicles, and they have no money to buy new vehicles. So Mr. President directed that we should do direct auction to our own MDAs, enable them stockpile their vehicle status. So we are doing that, and I'm sure most of them are benefiting. No, they committed an offense, so it's not my fault. It's not my fault. Thank you very much, sir.
Honorable, please go ahead. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sorry, my question is to the CG. I just have 2 questions, 3 issues. I want to ask you, are you aware that your
commands are supposed to maintain an account, because we give them IEAs every month, and they're supposed to put that money in that account and spend it and then account back. That is the only account they are supposed to have. No more, no less. If they have any account in excess of that, then it is an issue that, if it's brought to our notice, we investigate, and the command will eventually pay for it. So that is that. The issue of e-commerce is what you're talking about. Yes, parcels. We have a collaboration with NIPOS, that all goods, all parcel items that comes, we have the tariff line given to them. We are working on e-process of that. When we do that, then we'll be collecting directly. But for now, we have a working collaboration with them, that when they receive these things, we have our men on the ground. Then we identify all the items. The tariff line is there. We make we give them the value, and then they collect and remit it to us. So we do that. And then the big DHL and the rest. That is why we are having big problem, because some of this e-commerce issue is that it's delivered into your house. It's delivered into your house. So we have no way of capturing it unless they register it. And we are still battling with them to get them to register every item that comes to them for collection. So we are trying to perfect that. And this e-custom that I mentioned is an electronic process that will capture everything that has to do with that. So it is our hope that with technology, we will take care of most of these things and bring them under our own purview. But for now, we're doing the best we can with the little we have.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy.